Let's look at unemployment and the economic week coming up with SABC News Economics Editor Tshepo Mongoai. Great to have you with us, as always. Do you concur? What are your expectations around unemployment?
Well, it's something that we've been talking about for the longest time, but I suppose it's something very important that we must continue because it touches, lives of many people, and it's real on the ground.
If you don't have a job and you can't put food on the table,
Absolutely.
that's devastating.
It is, and the picture is not looking good, and we continue seeing many more young people joining the ranks of unemployed, and it's painful.
Yeah.
The expectation, of course, the second quarter number was around 33.9%. So we could see some improvement, marginal improvement. Many economists are saying perhaps it could come down to 3.4%, 3.5%, mainly because we're heading into that festive season. Remember, a lot of preparations and for festive seasons in terms of manufacturing, it happens during the third quarter. So factories will anticipate, the production that they might need in order to meet the demand in December. So what we are seeing that it's being delivered in the stores has been manufactured a few months ago. So that is likely, it could help a little bit in improving the numbers, but it's not substantial. Reality is we still have 8 million South Africans who are actively looking for work, 3.5 million who are discouraged. And they're just sitting at home. They've given up hopes of finding a job. And many of them do not have the necessary skills that is required. And we are not producing that kind of skill, even among our many matriculants, those who can take advantage of those opportunities and jobs that are out there, unfortunately do not qualify. And the intervention post-school to redirect, it's not strong, to redirect the lens towards those fields, even if they don't have the right subjects, but at least with the guidance, some of them could actually be able to take advantage of those opportunities.
So I think it's important what you're highlighting, because we can't celebrate little ups and downs when we have an unemployment rate soaring well above 30%. Comparative, if you look at the global economy, look at other countries, that is incredibly high.
It's high. It's a risk as well, Francis, because once
young people are sitting at home,
absolutely
frustrated.
Absolutely. Once you have so many young people, the approach in the past has been that let's find grants so that we can support them and support those who can't work, so that while they're looking for work, they can be able to help themselves. We've seen them with the COVID grants, but it's becoming something that you can't talk about anymore because there's no appetite, in the fiscus to extend that, and the signs are very glaring. So, but you can't just leave the people just like that. There has to be a way of doing something with the many young people. I mean, how many people? We've got about 10 million people in the formal sector. And those are the people who must look after 60 odd million South Africans in total.
Yeah.
So
it shows you how many dependents.
Exactly. So you need to get the tax from the 10 million people in order to support the rest of the population.
What does this mean for the young people who've just written matric? I think that really makes it real. I mean, they are meant to be starting their lives. What does it mean for them?
It's a challenge, Francis. Firstly, our universities cannot absorb the number of students with a university entrance certificate who qualify to go to university. So you still have a lot of students who cannot go there, cannot enter our universities. And, we love our university, of course, for many other reasons, because it's easier when you have a university degree and you're looking for a work, then people take you more seriously. There are other alternatives, but they have not been most popular among students, and they are not viable for many other reasons. There are challenges with the FETs and others. So it's a problem. Many are lost. They stay at home for a year or two and end up just idling and doing absolutely nothing.
And there's that incredible stat. If you don't get that first job, it becomes harder down the line to get into the job market. Tshepo, we're running out of time, so I quickly want to talk to you about oil. I mean, it is a good news for the petrol price. On the other hand, oil is down because everybody's concerned about China, and that affects us even.
Absolutely. We've seen it from the previous week's high. I mean, I think it was $83 per barrel. Now it's around 81. And of course, you know, there are developments in China with the COVID and the lockdown there, and that will probably take the steam out of the economic activities that we are starting to see in China. And of course, the recession in Europe, that discussion is still very much on the table and will continue. And perhaps it can even be a point of discussion here at home at some point, given the overall picture. So good news for petrol, of course. Petrol, we might see an increase. That's based on the latest figures released by Central Energy Fund. But diesel.
So oil is too late to help us for next month.
Diesel, we may get some benefit there. Remember, diesel has been going up. In fact, I've seen that diesel it's cost more than petrol recently. So that will help in terms of our industrial and transport of food and other activities that use diesel. So we may see, I think, just around R1 decline in diesel, and of course 50 cent increase in petrol.
But like you say, diesel is so important for farmers and many economic sectors in South Africa. Thank you very much. And by the way, we'll continue to follow what happens in China, because that's adding to global recession fears, which would mean even less growth for South Africa, even more unemployment potentially, sadly. That was SABC News' Economics Editor, Tshepo Mongoai.